Hey guys, I'm back in the Gold Coast after being in Sydney for the weekend, where we competed at Australia's Strongest. That's right, me and my client Fran, Super Fran, as we call her, we competed at Australia's Strongest in front of a huge crowd at the Meat Stock Festival. It was actually a really good show, and everyone enjoyed it. I know we all did, not just the competition, but the fact that it was amongst a festival brought a lot of eyes to the show who normally wouldn't have been there. So it wasn't just family and friends, you actually had an audience of people who were digging the events. And it was a stacked card, stacked lineup. The under 64 kilo category for the ladies, which was the one Fran went into, that lineup was incredible. And yeah, you had some real world class athletes in there. There was only one name that there was a couple of names, but there was one name that I kind of knew she would be the one to be up there, if not take it. Her name's Camilla. She's definitely world class as well. She competed in a few different categories, which shows that, how good she is. She was just brilliant at every single event. And my client Fran, she came second place. So we got the silver medal, we got the trophy, and we got the invite to World's Strongest at official Strongman Games, which is going to be held in Florida towards the end of the year. So that's amazing that we were able to do that. We won Queensland Strongest a few months ago, and then the goal for Australia Strongest was to come first, second or third, so to stand on that podium, and that's what we managed to do by getting second place. The events were pretty cool. You had a frame carry, you had an Atlas stone load, you had a overhead ladder, you had a deadlift ladder, and then you had a carry medley. So we've been training that for the past 3 months. You know how it is, where you're mainly doing event work for the last 2 months really. And that all went well, despite obviously Fran having a life and having a job and friends, etc. So, we're not pro strongmen like Brian Shaw and Hathor Bjornsson, where we're earning, thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars, and that's our only job. Like, we've also got to still go to work, we've still got our families, we've still got friends and social lives, we're humans. So being a coach and training Fran for a few years like I have, I kind of realised that she's a human first, and a strong woman second. So fitting it into her lifestyle was really important, and learning how to program for her specifically is different to programming for someone else, So that's I learned a lot about that in training for Queensland Strongest, was how to really vary it, and accommodate for different lifestyles. So the training did go well, the programming was all good. The weight loss, that was looking hard for a minute, for the first portion of the training, so like the first month, but luckily she was able to dial it in the last half of the training schedule. So made weight under 64 kilos, which was in itself an amazing achievement, and I'm really proud of Fran for being able to do that. And then, also having a good support network, that really helped. You had her partner Dan, who was just there for her sessions, filming, so that she can then send me the footage, so I can kind of do the coaching from afar, not always in the gym with her. And then also just supporting her and helping her with strongman stuff. The most annoying thing is setting it up and packing it away, because it's not just like you go to a bench press, put the weights on and start benching. This is, you have to find the right stone. It might be written in faded numbers somewhere in pounds when we work in kilos or something like that. Then you have to roll all the other stones out the way. You have to bring the stone to you. Then you have to set up the yoke, to the right height, or the platform, whatever it is. You have to apply your tacky. And then that's before you've even started. Then you warm up with stones, you know, then you do your lifts, and then you got to clean up that all that horrible mess off you afterwards. And it just really helps having someone else there to kind of get the equipment, you know, into place. And also she's got to put all her stuff on, you know, her gear, like whatever she's using, the wrist guards, knee sleeves, the right shoes, etc. So it was a big help having someone there with her in the gym, just to help her with all that setup and pack down and everything like that. And then at the comp, she had a good support network as well. You know, she had her fans, her friends came to watch her. I was there, of course, which is definitely a big help for any coaches who coach powerlifting or strongman. I would definitely, you know, as is obvious, to be there on the day is a big help, because you can, yeah, it's easy to forget what you're supposed to be doing and to lose focus off the exact event and the points that you've spoke about. You can't remember it all, especially with all the nerves and everything going on. So yeah, overall, it was a really good competition. You had 5 events. The first event was the, I think it was the carry medley, and that's the one where Fran got the second best time in the whole thing in her category. But the person who beat her, and the reigning defending champion, and you know the person who came number 1, Camilla, she got 25 seconds something, I think like 0.4. Fran got 25.8. So she, by less than half a second, she got second to Camilla, which, I mean, that's saying something, you know. If you've got this world class strong woman doing 25.4 and then you get 25.8, that's telling you you're up there as well. So what a great start to the competition. That meant that for the rest of the event, you know, for the next event, she was having to perform her lift in the last round, you know, once all the other women have gone. So she got to, that puts you in an advantage. You get to see what the others are lifting, what times they get, and then, you know, you can work out a plan according to that. So it put us in a really good position right from the start. Then you had the, I'm not sure exactly on the order from after that. I think it was like the deadlift ladder, which Fran's good at deadlift, so we knew that's one of her best events. So we knew she'd do well at that. We did a plan to go really quickly through the first 3. It was a deadlift ladder. There was 140, 150, 160, and then 180 kilos, so 4 lifts. And our plan was to just rush through the first 3 and not worry about the 4th, you know, give it a go, but it wasn't important. The important thing was to win. That's to fastest time for the first 3 lifts. That's exactly what happened. She executed our plan to perfection. Lift 1, lift 2, lift 3, really fast, without straps, just grip and rip. And then on the 180, I've put a video up of her attempting that. It was very close. I think she got it just below her knees. You know, she was almost about to push the hips through, but lost balance, started kind of falling backwards. So she didn't get the 180, but that wasn't the plan anyway. The plan was to get the other lifts as fast as possible. 180 kilos would have also been a PB, which obviously we all know you don't go and get a deadlift PB after already doing 140, 150, 160, and then jumping into the 180 all within 60 seconds. So that 180 is definitely looking good for the future when there's not a ladder involved. So I guess what's next for me and Fran is we're looking at PBs, 180 deadlift, and the other one we're seeking out the most is going to be a 70 kilo overhead press, whether it's the log or the axle. That will be the next goal. And coming up, we've got Queensland Strongest 2026. So the show she won last year, that's coming up again in less than 3 months, maybe even 2. But there'll no doubt be, oh well, we do have a overhead press in that, which will be 70 kilos overhead. So we want to nail that. Let's see how it goes. Watch this space. Anyway, back to the Australia Strongest. You had the overhead medley. Again, we made a plan. First few lifts, quick as possible. The last lift, a bonus, give it a go, but don't worry if you don't get it, and that's what she executed. Atlas Stones was pretty similar. So we had the plan for each one. There was those 3 events which were all 60 seconds. It's a race as fast as you can, and some sort of ladder. And we planned it in the way that we'd just win by going as fast as we can, minus the last lift, which was the heaviest lift. But we kind of knew that if we could perform well at the first few, that would give us enough points. Then what did we have? The frame carry, she did good on that. We kind of knew how she'll do from training. With the frame carry or farmer's walks, this was 60 seconds to get as much distance as possible, 10 meters there, 10 meters back, without dropping it. You can only drop it when you hit the line at the end of the 10 meters, and then you turn around, pick it up and go again. So there's no drops midway, otherwise that's where your time stops, your distance stops. And in training, I think we got about 70 meters, nearly 80 meters in training, but obviously comp day is a bit different. So we knew we'd get around that, and that's what happened. I think it was just shy of 70 meters, which was really good. We know that would give her enough points to kind of keep her in the top 2 or 3, top 2 preferably, and that's what happened. So yeah, successful show at Australia's Strongest. Next up is Queensland Strongest 2026. Well, she'll be the defending champion, and I have no idea who's going to be entering. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, that'll be a good fight, definitely, if a certain person enters. And then after that, I guess we'll see how we go at Queensland's, but she does have the invite to go to World Strongest in Florida. God, that's a long way away. Big flight. That's at the end of the year, so we got that to look forward to. I'm going to be posting more videos about Fran's training. We're going to get her showing some of her lifts and being more visible this training cycle leading up to Queensland Strongest. With Australia Strongest, it was a bit on the I guess on the down low, our training. Like, I don't do many videos, I don't have social media or anything like that, just this YouTube thing. But she's going to be posting some more now, because let's face it, we want them sponsorships. She needs protein, we got stuff we need to buy, we've also got houses and mortgages to worry about. So yeah, we're going to be doing the social media. Hopefully we can get her some free protein and creatine, electrolytes and stuff like that, make it a bit easier, because we do shell out a lot of money on this sport, but it's cool because it's what we love. But yeah, it would definitely ease things up. So yeah, watch this space, more training coming up, and watch all the little shorts that I've uploaded of her in the competition. I also put some up on the other categories as well, like you got the open weight men doing some big lifts. I think I did the open weight, I might put the log press up there. That was really fun to watch. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much, guys, so I'll see you next time, and goodbye.